Hi, Samuel here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It is Christmas tomorrow. How exciting is that? I wanted to give you an early Christmas present, which was the 5 most common mistakes that property investors make. Hopefully you won't make any of these mistakes going into the new year. So, number 1 is most property investors buy, I've said this before, it's the biggest mistake, they buy with their feelings and not with their formulas. So I know it's like Christmas time, but if you're buying properties this Christmas and you're buying properties in the same way that you buy presents, which is, do I like that? And it's all with your feelings, that's not how you should be investing. You should be investing with your formulas, and then the money that you make, spending that money with your feelings. That's okay. But that's the biggest thing that most investors do wrong. They'll look around the street, they'll check the neighbors, they'll see if they're okay. Would I live in it myself? That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how much will it rent out for and what's the deal? What are the formulas? So that's the biggest, I think, mistake. The second biggest mistake is that property investors often think that they have to buy close to home. So they think that they have to buy on their doorstep, otherwise it just won't work. And they might happen to live in an area that doesn't work very well for investing. So if you live in a city or a town or a village that doesn't work for investing, then hey, why not buy outside of your area? So that's mistake number 2, thinking that you can only buy in your area. Mistake number 3, which is kind of the opposite, is investors who buy outside of their area, but they don't do any market research. They don't do any due diligence. They don't figure out what the area is like, what the demand is like, how much the properties are going for, what kind of tenants they get. I mean, I will buy blind in one sense, because I won't necessarily physically look at the property, but I will do my market research. Because if you don't know exactly what the numbers are and what the demand is and what the supply is, then you can't calculate the correct formulas and the deal falls on its face. Yes, don't necessarily buy only in your own area, but if you're moving outside your area, make sure that you do your correct, proper due diligence and market research. Number 4, the 4th biggest mistake that investors make when buying properties is they do everything themselves. If some of the investors that I know who aren't investors, they're actually landlords, they're landlord first and yeah, maybe an investor, when we need to be investor first, landlord second, some of them, you could ring them right now on Christmas Eve pretending to be a upset tenant and they would answer the phone. What a terrible business. You might have 100 houses, but you haven't really got 100 houses. In fact, you've got 100 headaches. And if you do everything yourself, that's not financial freedom. We call that a rope around your neck. You want a business, not a job. The thing to do is to get a setup whereby you've got good people in place doing the work for you. You've got good managers. I personally have got property managers that manage all my properties, and then I've got an overseer. And the overseer is the person who chases the property managers and oversees the managers. And the overseer, one person, is the only person who's allowed to speak to me. And guess what? He won't contact me on Christmas Day. You want a systemized business, so don't do everything yourself. Another thing that can lead to is if you do everything yourself, because it's not physically possible, is on Christmas Day, for instance, or just generally speaking, if you've got lots of complaints or problematic tenants or you've got issues, you bury your head in the sand and you think, oh, I don't want to deal with it. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. So don't try and do everything yourself. Just get a good system in place. Number 5, this is a massive, massive mistake, which is costing you hundreds of thousands of pounds. Biggest mistake number 5, most property investors don't buy enough properties. They don't buy enough. I look back 10 years ago when I started investing and I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, why didn't I try and buy more properties? I've seen over the last 10 years, some of them have doubled in value and I'm like, oh, if I'd have just bought more. At the time, it always feels like, shall I buy, shall I not? Buying properties, you're always going to be safe buying properties as long as you don't make these kind of mistakes, as long as you get good systems in place, you have good people to manage the business, you're buying the right properties with the right power team, with the right market research. As long as you get that right, go and buy as many properties as you can, because when you buy property, you get paid twice, once in capital appreciation and once in rent. So those are the mistakes. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful Christmas and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. God bless.
Thank you so much for watching this video. It's mentoring on a Monday. Every single week at 7 p.m. on a Monday between 8 p.m. I'm going to be live answering all your comments and questions. Don't forget to subscribe right over here so you'll never miss one of these videos. I'll see you next week at 7 p.m. Also, if you haven't got a copy of my book, you need this in your life. You can get it from Amazon for £10.99 or a gift from me absolutely free down below in the description link. I'll see you next week, Monday at 7 p.m.